We are now less than 2 weeks away from the release of Space Marine 2. I am very much excited, and I very recently just replayed through Space Marine 1, which originally came out in 2011. I cannot believe we are now finally getting a sequel this far gone. We'll finally get to follow on from the story of what happens to Captain Tidus of the Ultramarines. He's essentially accused of heresy. I'll let you play the game to figure out how and why, but essentially that's why he's demoted in the second game, if people were wondering. Now, is the first game worth picking up and playing through now? I say yes, absolutely. There seems to be a bit of a resurgence with the game in terms of multiplayer. You can actually find some decent multiplayer matches now. I don't really play much PvP, but I do dabble. The only reason is because I just suck the donkey dick at it, really. And I openly admit that. I hold my hand up and it's all me. I made some comments about and more gripes about PvP in a previous Space Marine 2 video, and some people took that to mean that I was completely shitting on multiplayer. I'm not, and I want Space Marine 2's multiplayer to flourish and expand and be as big as it can be. I want it to do well. Let's just put that out there to start with. But Space Marine 1 also has a Horde mode, which I don't know if the second game has a Horde mode, or hopefully one arrives, especially with the Tyranids. That would be awesome. But in terms of enemies for the first Space Marine game, it's predominantly orcs. There are others, but I'm not going to spoil it for you. But it's mainly you're just fighting the greenskins, and that's always fun as it is anyway, because they just shout wah at everything. That's kind of what they do. There's still a decent array of weapons to use. There's 5 acts, I believe. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, there's 5 acts. I just had to double check myself then. And within those acts, several levels. There's about 18 checkpoint sections essentially to the game. The game will run you around about 8 hours in length-ish, 8 to 9 hours, maybe up to 10 if you're looking for all of the, well, the only collectibles are the servo skulls really that are strewn about everywhere, and I think there's around 50 of them, so that's the only thing to collect. But the game is incredibly fun to play, and it looks really cool, and all the lore within the game itself, the way everything looks, just looks damn good, especially for a game that came out in 2011, and I played it mostly on Steam Deck. Now, for full transparency, there was a section in the game where during a cutscene the game would just crash to desktop on PC, which is what this footage is and what I played it on, and I don't know why it did, and I redid it. Luckily it happened just after a checkpoint, so I only had to do another minute of gameplay to get to it, and then it crashed again. But I picked it back up on my Steam Deck and I played through that part, and it was absolutely fine. And that was the only issue I had. There are some people who do have issues launching the game, but they're very, very, very few and far in between. Apart from that one crash that happened during that one cutscene, I've had no issues with Space Marine. To me, it played absolutely flawlessly on PC and on Steam Deck, and is still a ton of fun to go through. Tidus is voiced by Mark Strong, the British actor who's more recently well known for being in the Kingsman series, and he does a great job. Unfortunately, he does not reprise his role in the second game, more specifically. But you know, he's probably busy, or he probably just didn't want to. So that's fair enough. But I'm very much looking forward to Space Marine 2, and if you're thinking of picking up Space Marine 1, 100% yes. Please give it a go. It's a lot of fun. It's still really awesome. Do not buy it full price. This game has gone back up in price again to like 40 to 50 quid. I can't see the price because oh, here it is, $39.99. Don't pay that for a game that came out in 2011, and that was very greedy of them because it was not that price before Space Marine 2's announcement. As soon as Space Marine 2 got announced, Sega, or it may have been the developer Relic, they squeaked the price up back on it, and I got it for like a tenner, I think, off of CD Keys. So if you can get it for about 10 quid, that's great. If you can get it for 15 quid, totally worth it. If it goes on offer for 20, at a push, yes, still worth it. It's still a very good game with some really cool set pieces and gameplay. But do not pay the full price for it. That is greed right there, and unfortunately there's a lot of that in the gaming industry, and it does suck the donkey dick. But please let me know in the comments down below, have you checked out the first Space Marine, or is this one that you're going to put on your list? I wouldn't say it's massively important to play it before Space Marine 2. I'm sure Space Marine 2 will fill in some of the blanks, especially as Space Marine 2's come in like 13 years after the original game. So to leave it that long for a sequel is just mind-blowing. But please let me know what you think down below, and as always, thank you very much for watching.